Okay.
Better, Prabhuji, not fully okay.
Better itself a good thing.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Krishna. Today Narayani is not there. Correct?
Yes, Prabhuji.
She said another Mataji is going to host.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, Meenakshi Mataji, pranams Mataji. Mataji, would you like to start a kirtan? Hare Krishna.
Suma Mataji is from Kerala or what?
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhuji. But born and brought up in Bangalore, Prabhuji. I know Tamil, now settled in Chennai, so I know Tamil also.
Born brought up in?
Bangalore, Prabhuji.
Bengaluru.
Hare Krishna.
Because I spoke some Malayalam words, you didn't reply, that's the reason.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Meenakshi is the host today. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Shall I sing a kirtan, Prabhuji?
Okay, I wanted to do something different.
You can do, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
So which one you are going to sing? You sing. Let me sing afterward that. Okay. You
Okay,
sing for a few minutes, then I sing.
Yes, Prabhuji. Okay, Prabhuji.
Co-host I will give you, right? Not necessary.
What, Prabhuji?
No. I thought I am the host. I am not the host. I am only.
Prabhuji, I can make you the host, Prabhuji.
Not necessary, because somebody is going to share the screen means my job is nothing.
Yes, Prabhuji. Mostly Rohini Mataji will be there. She'll be sharing the screen, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have made you the host, Prabhuji. I was not able to unmute.
No, I will make anyone of
you can make me the co-host so that I can help you, Prabhuji, if there is any disturbance.
Thank you. That's
Hare Krishna.
Okay, ma. Thank you. Yeah, you can start, Meenakshi.
Sure, Prabhuji. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Yashodhanandana Vrajajanandana Yashodhanandana Vrajajanandana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी.
Hare Krishna. Very nice. Wonderful.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranams Prabhuji.
Krishna, 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 Hare. Krishna, 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 Hare. Krishna, 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 Hare. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava Parima. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava Parima. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava Rakshama. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava Rakshama. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava Rakshama. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava Rakshama. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava Parima. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava Rakshama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. This is always an important song during the Janmashtami time. Everybody will sing it because Mahaprabhu has been singing this wonderful kirtan. Hare Krishna. So let's move on to today's topic. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadadi Sapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Dapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagagana Raghunathantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parajana Sakitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Radha Krishna Padam Sagagana Lita Shri Vishakhapatam Cha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langeti Grim Yatkilpa Tamham Vande Shri Gurum Diyana Tarinam Paramananda Madham Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namavishwadaya Krishna Pretaya Vikare Shri Jaya Pataka Swami Nitinam Namaha Charapataya Nitai Kripa Pradhani Gorakata Damadaya Nagara Grama Tarini. Hare Krishna. Suma Mataji, you want to record this or?
It is already live, Prabhuji.
Hare
It is
Krishna.
already
Live is going on, Prabhuji. So
Okay,
we
thank you.
need not
Thank you.
do
That's perfect. Because
Thank
I
you.
was Hare Krishna. कस्तूरितिलकं ललाटपटले वक्षस्थले कौस्तुभं नासाग्रे वरमौक्तिकं करतले वेणुकरे कङ्कणं सर्वाङ्गे हरिचन्दनं सुललितं कण्ठे च मुक्तावली गोपस्त्री परिवेष्टितो विजेते गोपालचूडामणि। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Hare Krishna. With the mercy of Guru Krishna, we are into the third canto, 29th chapter, verse number 36. Before getting into the verse, let's just have a preface to the chapter. So these are all completely instruction to Mother Devahuti by the Lord Kapiladev, incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So generally people in common parlance, they say, oh, Kapiladev means only Sankhya philosophy. He has profound so much on this. But what is more important is the same Lord has emphasized the devotional service so much in this chapter and the chapter to come more. So one can understand how important it is these chapters are. And let us get into the beginning, wherein Devahuti Ma was beautifully listening to the wonderful narrations and the descriptions of the material creation and the material objects, everything. So now she says, having heard so much, let me also get into this. What is devotional service? How it has to be performed. Then further, she says, we have heard devotional service is so powerful. So for benefiting me as well as people in general, please let us know in detail the devotional service. And further, she says, only by doing devotional service, one will be able to go back to Godhead. This is also I have heard about it. So hence, I request you to describe the devotional service in full. So this is the beginning. Now, in this particular verse, the Lord is explaining the importance of the different features of the Lord, Supreme Lord. Okay. Today's shloka, let me read it. One or two can recite it later after I complete, if time permits. And they can read the synonyms, translation, and purport. So that will be managed by Suma Mataji, I think so. Okay.
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Etad Bhagavato Rupam Brahmana Paramatmanaha Param Pradhanam Purusham Daivam Karma Vicheshtitam. Hare Krishna. Somebody can read.
Prashanti Mat, Hare Krishna. Prashanti Mataji, you can read the shloka, Mataji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Pranams. Etad bhagavato rupam brahmana paramatmanah param pradhanam purusham daivam karma vichestitam. Thank you Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
pranam.
Shall we continue like that, Prabhuji? Synonyms also. Sarika
Yeah,
Mataji, you can
everything,
read the
everything.
synonyms.
Perfect. Yeah.
Hare
Sudha
Krishna.
Mataji, you can read the translation. Rishabhanu Mataji, you can read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Etat, this, Bhagavatah, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Rupam, form, Brahmanaha, of Brahman, Parama Atmanaha, of Paramatma, Param, transcendental, Pradhanam, chief, Purusham, personality, Daivam, spiritual, Karma Vicheshtitam, whose activities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Pranam. Translation by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. This Purusha, whom the individual soul must approach, is the eternal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as Brahman and Paramatma. He is the transcendental chief personality and his activities are all spiritual. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. In order to distinguish the personality whom the individual soul must approach it is described here in this Purusha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the chief amongst all living entities and is the ultimate form of the impersonal Brahman effulgence and the Paramatma manifestation. Since he is the origin of the Brahman effulgence and Paramatma manifestation, he is described here with
Hare Krishna,
here
Mataji.
with
Can
as the chief
anybody else
personality.
take over, Mataji, if you have problem?
No,
Mataji?
Mataji, I will try.
Okay.
It is confirmed in the Kathopanishad. Nitya, Nityam. There are many eternal living entities, but he is the chief maintainer. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita also, where Lord Krishna says, Aham Sarvasva Prabhava. I am the origin of everything, including the Brahman effulgence and Paramatma manifestation. His activities are transcendental, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Janma Karma Chambe Divyam. The activities and the appearance and disappearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are transcendental. They are not to be considered material. Anyone who knows the fact that appearance and disappearance and activities of the Lord are beyond material activities of material conception is liberated ye veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma. Such a person, after quitting his body does not come back again to this material world, but goes to the Supreme Person. It is confirmed here, Purusham Vrajit. The living entities goes to the Supreme Personality simply by understanding his transcendental nature and activities. Hare Krishna. Sorry, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So let us get into this now. In this shloka, the primary word is Pradhana Purushaha. Purushaha means there is only one Purusha. We have heard a number of times from all the Acharyas. He is called the Purushottama and he is also given with the adjective Purna Purushottama. So there is no one else beyond him. That is why we are calling him as Purushottama and Purna Purushottama. And he is written as Param. That is the evidence. He is always transcendent. So here people are not able to understand this philosophy and the description of the scriptures. It says Brahmanaha Paramatmanaha. You have to read the word Brahman. Here it's all written as Brahmanaha, not Brahmanaha. So you have to read it very carefully. When you read the word also, Brahman effulgence. It's not Brahman, it's Brahman effulgence. So the Lord has got so many energies, as we know that Chit Sakti and Achit Sakti. The Chit Sakti has got so many activities and so many forms. So when we talk about the Chit Sakti also, here it is explained the Lord's effulgence. It is called Brahma Jyoti. The same way, the Lord's potency is also called as Brahman. Brahman means it is Paramatma sorry, it is Atma, nothing but Atma. So the other word for Brahman is Atma. So Brahman is always omnipresent. He is there everywhere. That's why the Lord is always omnipresent. So one should understand here Brahman is the unmanifested form. Then the Paramatma is again the expansion of the Vishnu. That's why it is written Purusha. So he is entering into all living entities' body. So this Paramatma has a role to do because he comes as the main kaina. That's why we call him as Mahavishnu, Narayana, so many. So what is his role? He has to satisfy each and every jiva's requirements. That is job. So as we see further here, in the transcendental chief personality is the Lord alone and no one else. But he has got expansion like Brahman and Paramatma. But that Supreme Lord is none other than Krishna himself. He is addressed as Bhagavan. So one must be able to distinguish what is Supreme Personality of Godhead and what are his expansions. If that is not the case, it's very difficult. That's why here it is explained so well, Purusha, and it is mentioned he is chief among all the living entities. And his ultimate form is Brahman, as I told you, effulgence. Then the Paramatma manifestation. So the first one is unmanifested, the second one is manifested. Okay. Since he is the origin means Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. Everything emanates from him. So to emphasize further this Purusha, it's in the Katha Upanishad. What is Katha Upanishad? Explain. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. That's what the verse says, Upanishad. He is eternal, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. He is there in all the Chetanas. Eko Bahunam. But he is who? Only one. Who is that? The Supreme God. Okay. So here the same content is explained in the Bhagavad Gita also, as we saw here just now. Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. Similarly, last time when we met, we explained about the other four Chatushloki Bhagavatam. So this one, what is noted here, mentioned here, is the Bhagavad Gita Chatushlokam. Okay, the other one is Bhagavad Chatushlokam. That what the Lord says is Ahameva Samevagre Nanyat Satasat Param. So that means that also he is telling everything emanates from me. Right? So like this, the importance of the Purusha and the supremacy of Purusha is explained. And whatever the activities, that's very important. It says Cheshtitam. What's the Cheshtitam? It's explained. Divya Karma Cheshtitam. It's explained as Vicheshtitam. It's not only Cheshtitam, it's addressed as. So when we say that Divyam, one has to understand the activities the Lord performs is always Divya. The Leela we call it, but in general we should not address like this. We should have to call it as Divya Leela. Right? Then when we talk about the Guna of the Lord, also similarly we have to say Divya Guna. And when we talk about the Rupa or the form, we have to say Divya Rupa. And when we talk about the holy name, we have to say Divya Naam. Otherwise in English, holy name. So Bhagavan again talks about the same thing in the Bhagavad Gita also. What does he say? Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvataha. Yo veti, veti means one who knows. Tattvataha, the ultimate truth. Then what does the Lord explain further? Tyaktva deham. Tyaktva means leaving. Deham means body. Punarjanma. Punar means again. Janma means another body is not there for. So this is emphasized here. This particular shloka can be compared to the Bhagavatam shloka, which is often quoted. So when we talk about this, the Supreme Lord, the Purusha, and the expansions, one will be able to remember the shloka, which is always quoted everywhere. Prabhupada also repeatedly talks about it. Anybody remembers the shloka?
Which sloka, Prabhuji?
Bhagavatam. It talks about the Supreme Lord and his immediate expansions. 3 expansions. Here we talked about it, no? Brahmanaha, Paramatmanaha, Purushaha.
Is it that, Prabhuji?
Vadandi
1.5.11, Prabhuji?
tattvavidas
Paramatmeti.
Somebody said, can you?
Vadandi tat tattvavidas tattvam yajnanamadvayam brahmedi
Ah.
paramatmani bhagavanidi shabdada.
Wonderful, wonderful, Archana Mataji. Vadanti tattva tattva vidaha. Right? So that says Brahmeti. Here it is written Brahmanaha. Paramatmeti. Here it is written Paramatmanaha. Bhagavan. Here it is written as there. What is that written here? This verse talks like this. What does it says? Instead of Bhagavan, it says Param Pradhanam Purusham. So there is only one phrase here. It is given with 3 phases. Clear? Bhagavan iti sabhyate. Okay, wonderful. Very good comparison. So we have to always try to relate the shlokas which is connected. Okay. So let's move on to the 37th. Rupa Vedaspadam Divyam Kalait Abhidhiyate Kalait Yabhidhiyate Bhutanam Mahadadinam Bhutanam Mahadadinam Yato Bhinna Drisham Bhayam. Okay.
Archana Mataji, Hare Krishna, you can read the synonyms. Shanti Mataji, you can read the translation. Krishnamurti Prabhu, you can read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Salam Prabhu. Rupa Veda of the transformation of forms. Aspadam, the cause. Divyam, divine. Kala, time. Iti, thus. Abhidhiyate is known. Bhutanam of living entities. Mahat Adinam, beginning with Lord Brahma. Yada, because of which. Bhinna Drisham, with separate vision. Bhayam, fear. Hare
Hare Krishna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Tejai. The time factor who causes the transformation of the various material manifestations is another features of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anyone who does not know that time is the same Supreme Personality is afraid of the time factor. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Purport by A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada ki jai. Everyone is afraid of the activities of time. But a devotee who knows that the time factor is another representation or manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead has nothing to fear from the influence of time. The phrase Rupa Vedaspadam is very significant. By the influence of time, so many forms are changing. For example, when a child is born, his form is small, but in the course of time, that form changes into a larger form, the body of a boy, and then the young body of a young man. Similarly, everything is changed and transformed by the time factor or by the indirect control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Usually, we do not see any difference between the body of a child and the body of a boy or young man because we know that these changes are due to the action of the time factor. There is cause for fear for a person who does not know how time acts. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna
Hare
Mataji,
Krishna.
Pranams Mataji.
Okay. So you all might be remembering in the same chapter at the beginning, Mata Devahuti is also requesting the Lord to explain about the time factor. Because when we talk about Bhagavad Gita, there are 5 important subjects. One among them is time, right? So here also the time is asked. But one has to understand, Devahuti Mata was asking almost a bunch of questions, and the Lord, one by one, is answering all these things. So when she was asking about the time factor, here he is talking about the time factor. What is it? Rupa Bheda. Rupa Bheda means the form getting transferred or transformed. So how it happens? It is due to the time factor. But one should understand the Lord also can take different forms. But it is purely out of his will. But whereas for us, the form is constrained due to what? Because of the karma what we have done. Again, if you look at it, what type of karma we have done, accordingly it is awarded. So if you look at it, the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says, at the time of quitting, if somebody is remembering something, they will be getting the same. Say for instance, a house owner, the moment he bought a house, he thought, oh, we have to have a dog to have a watch things. So he'll have a dog and slowly he will develop attachment toward that. Every now and then he will think of it. So in leaving the body also, he might be thinking of the same dog, right? So finally, what will be happening? The next body will be a body of a dog. So this we have learned from the Bhagavad Puran, wherein Bharat Maharaj was trapped into this illusion, right? Again, he became a deer. Okay. So Gita says, Yam Yam Vapi Smaran Bhavam. Tyajatyante Kalevaram. Kalevaram means body. Tyajatyante means one who quits. So here also, the explanation is given, it's all due to the time factor. So in Hindi, there is a word called parivartan. Parivartan means transformations. So that is bound to happen in the material world. Anything that comes, it has to take different shapes and finally it has to dwindle at one point of time. It is purely controlled by the time factor. But the Lord comes according to his own willpower or wish. He comes. Sometimes he takes the form of a sukha, right? And sometimes he takes the form of a fish. Sometimes he takes half man, half lion. So the time influence will have no effect on the Supreme Lord when he comes to the material world. Because time himself, he himself is the time. And the time is also controlled by him. So based on that, the Lord expands as a time also. Why? Because whatever is created has to come to an end. That's why the Kala factor is there. So if you look at it, the annihilation, we say that, no? So there are different type of annihilations. So all this annihilation takes place based on the time factor. Fortunately, the British people or English people, they have said this in proverb, time and tide, wait for none. Same thing. So the body gets into different shapes based on the time. So this way, one has to understand the time factor is very important, and it is nothing but the Lord himself. Here there is one more word, what is given here, yato binna drisham bhayam. Right? Why? Because the time is the one which creates the fear. Right? So people think, oh, I am going to live forever. But when they hear others passing away, they'll think, oh, I have got a lot of time. I have. Right? Like that. So this is an illusion. But out of all the fears that is on the material world, the Marana Bhaya is the topmost. So one will be completely baffled that time comes further. Let's move on to the next sloka. Yovanta pravishya bhutani bhutair atti akilashrayaha sa Vishnu vakyo adiyajnyo asau kalaha kalayatam prabho yovanta pravishya bhutani bhutairati Akilashrayaha sa Vishnu Vakyo Adiyajnyo Sau Kala Kalayatam Prabho. Somebody can read the sloka and the synonym everything.
Hare Krishna. Chandana Mataji, you can read the shloka. Sharmila Mataji, synonyms and translation. Hare Krishna. Purport I will.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, then pranams.
Yeah.
Yo anta pravishya bhutani bhutairatyakhilashrayah savishnavakyo dhiyajñoso kala kalayatam prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Synonyms. Ya, he who, anta, within, pravishya, entering, bhutani, living entities, bhutaihi, by living entities, atti, annihilates, akila, of everyone, ashrayaha, the support, sa, he, Vishnu, akhya, named, adiyajna, the enjoyer of all sacrifices, asau, that, kala, time factor, Kalayatam, of all masters, Prabhuhu, the masters. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the enjoyer of all sacrifices, is the time factor and the master of all masters. He enters everyone's heart. He is the support of everyone, and he causes every being to be annihilated by another. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is clearly described in this passage. He is the supreme enjoyer, and all others are working as His servants. As stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela 5.14, Ekale Ishvara Krishna, the only Supreme Lord is Vishnu, Arasava Bhritya. All others are His servants. Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other demigods are all servants. The same Vishnu enters everyone's heart as Paramatma, and he causes the annihilation of every being through another being. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Here, another interesting aspect of this sloka is who is the enjoyer, right? And who is the master of this? And who resides everywhere? And he is supporting everyone. These are the prime Lord's activities when he comes down. And finally, annihilation takes place. That's also because of him, right? One can understand this. So when we talk about the Lord, we saw that he is the time factor. So naturally, he possesses innumerable powers. So while the material world is created, all the living entities wants to enjoy things. So he's creating so many objects and the paraphernalia. So they try to utilize it. And while performing it, what they think, oh, I am the enjoyer. Unfortunately, this is not truth. Because the original enjoyer is the Supreme Lord. The very simple word, original enjoyer, because he is having all these things. Everything belongs to him, right? What does it say? Everything belongs to him. And he is the original enjoyer. So in Bhagavad Gita, it says Yajneshwara or Bhogaishwarya. Like that, there are so many words, right? Similarly, if you look at it, he is the original enjoyer because everything belongs to him. What is the shloka?
Suhridam
Oktaram.
Okay, that's one. Okay, then other than Bhagavad Gita, anything else? Everything belongs to him in the material world.
From Ishopanishad.
Very good, very good. Somebody said Ishavashyam. Who is that? Okay, Sunita Mataji, wonderful. So Ishavasyam idam sarvam. So that means everything belongs to him. So naturally he should be the enjoyer, right? For a simple pencil or a pen, what do we say? Oh, it's mine. I will write, use it and give it to you later. This is what we say, right? A simple thing. So we are also the same way, right? But unfortunately, we think everything that is available in this material world belongs to us. Forgetting the original owner, we try to enjoy it. This is called thief, right? He's called as thief. So here one should understand it should be offered to him. Then he is the time factor and he is the master of all, right? So there are so many adjectives given to him because he expands into so many things. Because his potency is unlimited. and he is all powerful, right? So here he resides in each and everyone's heart. But for what? Not only simply idle sitting. He does two things. One is he is providing everything the Jiva wants, right? Second thing, he is the, what is that? Anybody can say? One, I said, what is the other work of this who is residing in the heart?
He also
Witness.
oversees.
Witness.
Upadrishtavanamanta.
Wonderful. So he is the witness. First he is providing everything, then he acts as the witness. So this way, he is there residing everywhere. And one should understand, he is also the ultimate cause of annihilation. So Lord Vishnu is the supreme. That's why Prabhupada writes, Lord Vishnu, the supreme personality of Godhead. Right? So here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also explained so well in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Ekale Ishvaraha Krishna. There is only one Lord, who is the controller, Krishna alone. And further, it says, all others are his assistants, subordinates. So, Ara Sabha Bhrithya, all others are his servants. Right? So, I tell you, the more you read the scriptures, the more you read the shlokas, you can find the translation of each and every Sanskrit word. All that you have to do. Bhrithya, 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 Paricharaka Bhrithya. There is one shloka. Anybody remembers? Quick.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Majjanmanah palamidam madhukaithabare matprarthaniya madanugraha esha eva tadbhritya bhritya bhrityasya bhritya iti mam smara lokanatha.
Hare Krishna. There are 7 times it comes, right? Okay. So that is by whom?
It's Prabhu Rajashekar Kulshekar Raj Alvar Prabhuji.
Okay, good.
Raja Kulshekar Alvar.
Okay. What is your book name?
Mukundamala Stotra Prabhuji.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Very nice. So I tell you, the scriptures are nectarian. Everything is wonderful. All the Vaishnava Acharyas have done so much about this. Only thing, we do not have time. Our lifetime is also not enough to complete this. So here, that's why it is explained here, there is only one Ishwar, all others are simply servants. So we can understand the importance of it. And the supreme power with whom he is only the person who is the time factor, and only he does the annihilation. Let's move on to the next verse. Actually, there are 2-3 shlokas. Actually, I have kept it ready. Shall I give it to you now? Are you all ready for that? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
So, the first phrase comes, Yuvanta Pravishya. Anybody remembers any other shloka from the Bhagavatam? Quick. Okay, I'll give you. Many of you may not know. This is coming from the Dhruva Stuti. It is 496. Make a note of it. So Dhruva went for the meditation. You all know that, right? To get the bigger kingdom than his father. So he was instructed by Narada Muni and he sat on meditation, right? He was able to do everything precisely as instructed by his spiritual master. Finally, he was able to have the wonderful darshan of the Lord within him. When he held the breath, the whole air stopped in the creation. So everybody rushed to the Lord, and the Lord said, okay, I will go and see. When the Lord comes, he also does not open his eyes because he was relishing the beauty, the Paramatma form. That's why yogis always relish the Paramatma. Okay, try to understand. And the Jnani always looks for only the Brahman. Okay, so when he was relishing it, the Lord came, the form what he was meditating and what he was seeing inside. When he came, he didn't do. The Lord immediately thought, oh, he is meditating so much. Let me put a curtain. So he put a curtain, he lost the darshan. Immediately he felt it, oh, I have missed the Lord. But we miss the mobile and we cry. But here he cries, okay? As he opens his eyes, he could see the same Lord in front of him, face to face. At the time he could not speak. That's why he said, Dhruvacha yonta pravishya mama vacham mam prasuttam sanjeevayatyakila shakti daraha swadamnam Anyam cha hasta charana shravana tvagatine pranannamo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam. This is a wonderful prayer. You can always recite regularly. There are 11 shlokas. So Yoanta Pravisha means he has already entered into his body. Not only his body, in all the living entities. Similarly, there is one more phrase in this sloka of today. Anybody can get this Bhagavad Gita sloka for this? Kalaha Kalayatam. Anybody remembers? Can do that. Okay, I'll get into that. Prahaladachasmi Daityanam Kalaha Kalayatamaham. This is 10:30, 10th chapter, 30th shloka. Okay. Here the Lord says, I am the Kala. I am the time. And it is written in the translation, among the subduers, I am the time. So everybody has to subdue to that. Nobody can protest. Oh, I will not die. I will wait. No, it has to go. So this is what it is explained. So, okay. Hare Krishna. Let's get into the today's shloka again. Back to 39. न चास्य कश्चित् दयितो न द्वेष्य न च बान्धवः अविशति अप्रमत्तोऽसौ प्रमत्तं ज्ञान अन्तकृत् न चास्य कश्चित् दयितो न द्वेष्य न च बान्धवः अविशति अप्रमत्तो ओके प्राविशति Avishati, these are two different things. Okay, so Avishati apramatto asau pramattam janam antakrit. Somebody can read the verse, synonyms, translation purpose quickly.
Hare Krishna. Karpagalli Mataji, you can read the shloka and synonyms. Padmashri Mataji, you can read the translation. Meenakshi Mataji, you can read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Dandatam. Hare Krishna. Natasya kaste daito adesho nacha bandava avishyati apramato sau paramatnam jnanam antakrit.
Pramattam. The last line is pramattam jnanam antakrit.
Pramattam jnanam antakrit. Thank you, Prabhu. Not and Asya of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kashit, anyone, Daita, dear, not, Dvesha, enemy, not, and Bandavaha, friend, Avisati, approaches, Apramata, attentive, Asau, he, Pramattam, inattentive, in Jnanam persons, Antakrit, the destroyer. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Mataji.
Translation purport, please.
The translation shall I read?
Hare Krishna. Translation. No one is dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, nor is anyone his enemy or friend, but he gives inspiration to those who have not forgotten him and destroys those who have. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Forgetfulness of one's relationship with Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the cause of one's repeated birth and death. A living entity is as eternal as the Supreme Lord, but due to his forgetfulness, he is put into this material nature and thus migrates from one body to another. And when the body is destroyed, he thinks that he is also destroyed. Actually, this forgetfulness of his relationship with Lord Vishnu is the cause of his destruction. Anyone who revives his consciousness of the original relationship receives inspiration from the Lord. This does not mean that the Lord is someone's enemy and someone else's friend. He helps everyone. One who is not bewildered by the influence of material energy is saved, and one who is bewildered is destroyed. It is therefore said, Harim vina na mrityam taranti. Now, no one can be saved from the repetition of birth and death without the help of the Supreme Lord. It is therefore the duty of all living entities to take shelter of the lotus feet of Vishnu and thus save themselves from the cycle of birth and death. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, pranams.
Hare Krishna. Okay, this is on the top class sloka. Okay. So here also you can go to so many verses of Bhagavad Gita. Okay. Let us get into this verse. What does it explain? Then we'll go to the reference. Okay. nachasya kaschit daito. Then it says na dveshya nacha bandavaha. Dveshya means hating, bandavaha means friend. But here the Lord says there is no such one. Then he says avishati apramatto asau. Because apramatto is the one which is important for us, attentive. See, Bhagavatam listening, if you look at the Bhagavatam Mahatmya, it says attentive listening is very important. Then only one can get the complete nectar of the Bhagavatam. So here the Lord says, Avishati. Avishati means I approach them and I give them this. Pramattam jnanam antakriti. Those who do not have any attentiveness. That's why it says pramattam. So they don't have any attentiveness. For them, what does he do? Antakriti, he destroys it. It's very simple. I'll tell you, those who always remember us, we used to be in touch, we used to encourage them. Those who are not, we just ignore them. Is it true or not? This is a general material world approach. But the Lord does it. But that does not mean one should understand or misunderstand, oh, he's partial. Similarly, that's why in the first two lines, what does he say? Na dveshyo nacha bandhava. That means he is equal to each and everyone. There is no discrimination in his court. This is very important. So here he says forgetfulness is the one's relationship with Vishnu, right? But the moment that soul starts striving or taking efforts to remember, then the Lord comes to his rescue. Because he is the one as the memory and he is the one as the forgetfulness, right? In Bhagavad Gita also he says, I am giving you the memory, I am giving you the forgetfulness. Anybody remembers the shloka quick? Super. Instant. Very nice. So here also, this is established here. So the Lord comes to their help. That's why when we talk about the acharyas, gurus, spiritual masters, what they do, they come as a representative of the Lord. Why? Because they kindle the remembrance in us about the Lord. That's why we call him as Sakshat Haridvena. So the Lord never comes directly, but he comes in the form of a guru. Two ways. He comes as a Diksha Guru, sometimes he comes as Siksha Guru, or sometimes he comes as a Chaitya Guru. Right? So, as we see here, in this material world, our body keeps on transforming, but at final point, it gets destroyed. So, the Lord does not distinguish, differentiate, because why? He is equal to everyone. Anybody remember the shloka? He is equal to everyone. Say loudly, full shloka quick.
Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshosti na priyaha.
Then what is the next? Evajanti tu mam bhaktya maite teshu chapyaham. Wonderful. So this is also relevant here. You can make a note of it. So why I'm telling, particularly this chapter, there are lots of references from the Bhagavad Gita. So much. We saw that, right? Then the second line, Evajanti tu mam bhaktya maite teshu chapyaham. For him, he does it, right? In this verse, what does he say? Those who remember me, I will help them to remember me more, and those who do not, I destroy it. Is it fair on him? No. Right? Because he is always fair. That just now we saw, he is not partial at all. He is always impartial. So when we talk about this partial and impartial about the Lord, there is a big reference in the Bhagavatam. That is coming in the 7th canto. The question comes from Parikshit Maharaj. to Sukadeva Goswami, and how it turns again. Sukadeva Goswami gave a reference of Yudhishthira Maharaj and the Narada Muni conversation. In this regard only you are getting the Prahlada Charitra. Right? And Narada says very clearly he is not partial at all, my dear. The demons might think, but it's wrong. Okay. So those who worship the devatas, because they forget Krishna. So again, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I give them that determination more and more. Their faith much more steady. Correct or not? Because he does not stop, because he has given us the minute independence, at the same time he has given full freedom. He never stops you from anything. He gives everything whatever you want. But unfortunately we don't appreciate it. That's the problem. So anybody remembers this shloka? Those who worship the devatas, I make their faith steady. Yo yo yam yam tanu bhaktaha shraddaya archita michati, because ichati means they desire. Archita means worship. Who? They worship the devatas. Tasya tatsya achalam shraddam tameva vidadam aham. I give them the steadfast. Even the next shloka also connected to this is also important. Satya shraddaya yukta tasya aradhanam ikate. So that's also the same. So this comes in the 7th chapter, 21st shloka. So that's why in this verse, what does he say? In the purport also you can see it. It is therefore the Lord Hari. Harim bina nam murtim taranti. One cannot cross this ocean of birth and death, but for the Lord. So somebody is not thinking of the Lord, he gives them forgetfulness. That's it, finish. If somebody is trying to remember, he gives them all the memory. One good example you can say from our own life, right? When we all get into the Krishna consciousness, initially we didn't have anything, right? Because our memory was very weak, we are worried too many things, right? And slowly, when we start getting into the Krishna consciousness, we try to read the slokas, we try to read the kirtan, Vaishnava songs, this and that, right? One after another, when we keep doing it, automatically we feel, oh, my memory is better. And sometimes when we get into the reference numbers also, then we think, oh, the Lord has showered me more memory. Why? Because the more you remember, the more He gives you that. Correct or not? So many of you can go quickly have a check on that. Before getting into Krishna consciousness, how much I had memory. After getting into Krishna consciousness, what is my memory capacity? Right? What will be the answer for all of you? Quick.
Yes, Prabhuji, it has improved.
It has?
Improved, Prabhuji.
That's it.
Your experience.
So all because the Lord supports you from Him. So this is what we have to understand this. So let us move on to the, I have given all the reference shlokas, I think so, for this shloka also. Okay. Let us move on to the next verse. This is also a very important shloka. Prabhupada has quoted this, shloka number 40. You'll be wondering how it is happening like that. Yad bhayat vati vato yam suryastapati yad bhayat. You can understand, Yad bhayat vati vato yam suryastapati yad bhayat. You can understand. Vati vato, that is wind. Okay. Then bhayat, because of fear. And next line, Surya tapati. Surya means the sun god. Tapati means heat. Yad bhayat, again out of fear. Yad bhayat varshate devo. What is that? Varsha deva means what? Who is the rain god? And he does it because of the fear. Bhagano bhati yad bhayat. Bhagano yad bhati bhayat. So all these wonderful slokas you can easily remember and understand the supremacy of God. Oh. Such a wonderful chapter this is. Hare Krishna. One more time I'll read it. Somebody can read this verse, then synonym translation. Okay. Yad bhayat vati vato yam suryastapati yad bhayat varsate devo bhagano bhati yad bhayat. Quick.
Hare Krishna. Padma Mataji, you can read the shloka. Sarika Mataji, you can read the synonyms. Sudha Mataji, you can read the translation and purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yadbhayadvati vatoyam suryastapati yadbhayat varsate devo bhagano bhati yadbhayat.
Hare Krishna. I'll give you some quick tips how to remember this type of verses. See, in this verse, Yadbhaya comes so many times, right? That's all that you have to fit in. Vati Vatoyam, that's very important. Suryo Dahati, right? Dahati or Tapati, it's okay. Like that, you can easily remember this type of shlokas. Okay, go ahead.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Yat, of whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhayat, out of fear, Vati, blows, Vataha, the wind, Ayam, this, Suryaha, sun, Tapati, shines, Yat, of whom, Bhayat, out of fear, Yat, of whom, Bhayat, out of fear, Varshate, sends rains, Devaha, of the god of rain, Bhaganaha, the host of heavenly bodies, Bhati, shine, Yat, of whom, Bhayat, out of fear. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Pranams. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. Out of fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the wind blows. Out of fear of Him, the sun shines. Out of fear of Him, the rain pours forth showers. And out of fear of Him, the host of heavenly bodies shed their luster. Purport. The Lord states in Bhagavad Gita, Maya Dyakshena Prakriti Suyate. Nature is under my direction. The foolish person thinks that nature is working automatically, but such an atheistic theory is not supported in the Vedic literature. Nature is working under the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, and we also find here that the sun shines under the direction of the Lord, and the cloud pours forth showers of rain under the direction of the Lord. All natural phenomena are under superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, this verse is also very important for us for the simple reason. Because the Lord is all powerful, one should understand it easily. And the nature functions based on His instructions. So, we can remember it so very well. There is a cloud burst happening recent times, right? The terminology was not there before. And they see so many reasons. But the primary reason is when the human being try to harness the nature. This is what happened. But they do not believe it. Right? And the scientists, modern scientists, they think, oh, we are harnessing the nature. So when they try to harness the nature, this is the fate. See that there are so many landslides, so many places, right? It is washing away villages. It is washing away the complete towns. China, India, so many, not one place, right? Why? Because the human being is greedy. He has given us everything to enjoy after offering to Him. But unfortunately, we don't offer also, we enjoy also, but sometimes we are also trying to overuse it out of greediness. So the very first line, he says, out of fear, the wind blows. Because that means Vayu has to function without stop. Similarly, the sun shines. He cannot take weekly off. Similarly, the Varsat, right? The rain god, Varuna, he cannot stop. Right? Why he pours so much of downpour? Because under the instructions, under the fear of the Lord. Out of fear, all the devatas also shed their luster. It's very simple. Bhagavad Gita says, Mayadakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam. Moving, non-moving, everything works under my superintendence. Mayadakshena. How? We have to understand this specific thing. There is a very specific thing. Like us, he doesn't go here and there. See, in a company, there will be a big factory, right? There will be supervisors. The supervisor sits in his room, things will happen. No, he has to go around the machines. He has to see each and everything. This is the human capacity. But the Lord, the super powerful, what does he do? Just by his glance. By his glance, all these things happen. Right? So that means any flourishing things is also by the glance of the Lord. Anything that is also destroyed, again by the glance of the Lord. One has to understand it. So the scientists are all foolish and they think everything happens automatically. See that all these years or hundreds of years, the Ritu were properly coming in time and properly moving off. But now the Ritus are also being changed because we try to manipulate, we try to tamper things. This is the problem. So naturally, the Devatas who are working under the instructions of the Lord has to perform their duty. So people should not misuse it. That's why when the greediness comes, everything comes. Okay, automatically they have to go through all these problems again and again and again. So how to get out of it? It's very simple. One has to surrender to the Lord. Hare Krishna. Any questions, any doubts on this?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranamas, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, Supreme Lord, he has given little bit freedom to us. Only as after creating all things, Devatas are working under this direction without any deviations. This human being being egoism is acting like anything. So for that we were suffering like anything.
Yes.
Prabhuji, in somewhere in Shvetashara Upanishad or somewhere else I have read, after creation is completed, Supreme Lord, he hold a Vajrayuda in his hand. By holding that Vajrayuda, and then by seeing that all the Devatas were working by fear. But what about that we small creatures, human beings, we were acting like anything? Is it fine, Prabhuji? So
Okay,
we were suffering.
One good straight answer for this is very simple. That's why Shastra explains the Devatas are devotees of the Lord. And the demons are not devotees of the Lord.
So we have got both characters.
Let me complete it. The human beings are completely under the influence of demonic nature. Clear? The faith in God, okay, the love of God, everything is gone. Correct or not?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Now you understood the point?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Because the Devatas are also given powers and minute independence. No doubt. But they are always devotees of the Lord because they work under the instructions of the Lord directly. They don't deviate. But unfortunately, the human being, they also have some, as we say, that is the Tatasya Shakti plus the minute independence, they try to misuse because forgetting the Lord. But whereas Devatas never forget. That's the point. So if you look at the Puranas, all the Asuras are always having a dvesha towards the Lord. Similarly, in the human being also, especially in the Kali Yuga, the demonic nature is more in many of the human beings. Correct?
Yes, Prabhuji.
A handful are all still devotees. We cannot generalize the term human society is greedy. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Clear?
Yes, Prabhuji. So
Correct.
we have to think of that, Prabhuji. We have to cultivate it, and we must not forget Supreme Lord forever.
Yeah.
Then we will be able to be in peace of mind in this material world, in particularly Kali Yuga. Thank you,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
yes.
Hare Krishna.
Wonderful. Hare Krishna. Any other
Hare
questions?
Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji. Sarika Mataji has a doubt. Yes, Mataji. Go.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Ah.
Prabhuji, in this verse, everywhere the Lord is saying that the sun god shines his light out of fear.
Hmm.
The rain god pours rain out of fear.
Ah.
So why out of fear has been highlighted so many times?
Hmm.
Because these are devatas. If they are asuras, then they might fear the Lord. But these are devatas. Why do they fear the Lord to perform their duty?
Good question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Even I had the same doubt.
You have also the same question. Let me know the names before I answer. Because first question was given.
Sarika Mataji and
Point was
Meenakshi.
given by Krishnamurti Prabhu. Now it is one is Sarika Mataji, and who is the next one?
Meenakshi.
Meenakshi. Oh, okay. Okay, let us get into this. Why the fear word is utilized again and again? Huh? I'll tell you. Very simple. See, the Lord has given certain powers to the devatas more than the human beings. Clear? Do you agree on that?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Right? But the human being do not have so much power like the devatas. Agree?
True, Prabhuji.
Similarly, lifetime of a human being and lifetime of a devata. You know that, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Their longevity is more.
True.
Okay. So then automatically, when they do a mistake, they realize it and correct themselves. Correct? But the human being, they do not have any of these things. Their power is less and their life is less, and they also forget more than the devatas. But interestingly, the devatas owe a lot to the Lord because they have been given the position. Correct or not?
Yes, Prabhuji.
For instance, I'll tell you, if parents, those who have got 4 or 5 children, one of the child is given some responsibility with some powers. Right? When they try to act, they will always think of whom? Tell me. Will they do it with their own whims and fancies, or will they check with the parents?
They'll check with the parents.
Very simple. They will have the fear, right? If I do wrong, my father will beat me, mother will shout me, right?
Yes.
Whereas other children who are not having any of these things, what they will do?
They will do their own will.
So will they listen?
They may not.
So what is their nature?
Yeah, so if there is some responsibility, some power given, then out of sense of responsibility, and the fear of reprimand,
very good.
then they will.
Prabhuji, can we say that it is fear out of respect also, Prabhuji?
Mataji?
Fear out of respect, can we say?
No, I'll tell you. See, you can say that one way, but the devatas have always got high regards for the Supreme Lord. Because for every time, who is coming and protecting them? This is also another point. Another point.
Yes.
Clear? For instance, Brahma has given some boon to this fellow, Hiranyakashipu, right? He's blinking what to do, how to handle this fellow, right or not?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Who comes to the rescue?
Narasimha.
Okay.
Narasimha.
Similarly, okay, Bhasmasura was given some extraordinary power by Lord Shiva. And the same guy is trying to worry him, right? What happened to Shiva?
He was going to keep his hand on Shiva.
He
Now
left
you understand
Kailas.
the point?
Mohini
When
Murti.
powers are given, one has to be diligent. Correct or not? Even
Yes,
I can
Prabhuji.
give you a good example in the companies, right? The company has got a cashier and he is handling so much of millions and millions of cash, right? Can he take it lightly?
No, Prabhuji. Understood.
So
Fear
the
due to the
Devatas,
responsibility.
yes, the Devatas are simply working for the Lord, to please the Lord. When they go wrong, they have their own fears. That's the
Hare
reason
Krishna
when they
Prabhuji.
function also, they take utmost care. That's why it is written here, superintendence. What is the word here used here? Anybody saw that word?
Yes, Prabhuji. Superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nature is
Ah.
working under the
So that itself is a clear indication.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
If we really love someone, we also do with respect and everything. We also follow everything what he says, no, Prabhuji. So
Yeah,
why?
that's also that. See, naturally, when we love someone, we try to obey them, try to work for them sincerely. All these things happens.
That's what Prabhuji. So Devatas, why do only they fear Prabhuji? Not because they know so much more about the Lord. So love will be more. Affection and love will be there, no, Prabhuji, towards the God. So
No,
why
see,
only
Mataji,
fear?
one thing I tell you. See, there are two aspects of it. See, that aspect is what? Because they always remember the Lord. They always respect the Lord. So naturally, they love the Lord more than the other living entities. Okay. But at the same time, when they are given some responsibility to execute, right? Try to understand how they will do it diligently or carelessly. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
How they will perform their diligently they work or carelessly they work?
Prabhuji, I'm not able to hear Prabhuji.
Will they work diligently or carelessly?
No, diligently, Prabhuji.
Very simple. So while executing that, they have the fears. Very simple. Not
Okay,
that
Prabhuji.
every time the Lord is going to punish them. This is very important. You said he loves the Lord. Naturally, the Lord will not punish them. Have you ever seen punish the Devatas? Hare Krishna.
No, Prabhuji.
Indra's instance, Prabhuji.
Oh, his ego was damaged. That's it. Correct or not? Then he comes down and asks for forgiveness. You remember that or not?
Yes, Prabhuji.
It is called Govinda Pattabhishekam. This comes in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto 27th chapter, where Indra is praying to the Lord. Similarly, Surabhi also, who came along with him, Surabhi also prays to the Lord. Correct or not? But as Krishna Bhakti Prabhu said, human beings have got too much of ego. They are not grateful to the Lord because of the demonic nature. Not all the human beings, okay? Clear?
And Prabhuji, it also helps all of us being so minute to take the holy shelter of his lotus feet, no, Prabhuji?
That's it. Very simple. Very simple.
To surrender.
See, the Lord is never partial, Ma. You have to understand this point. This is what I said. There is no time, otherwise I can explain this. I told you some hints, right? Seventh canto, first chapter, slokas and other things. Wherein the conversation between Yudhishthira and Narada is so clear. Even the conversation between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit is also there. It emphasizes the Lord is never partial. Clear?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Padma Shri Mataji, you can ask the question, Mataji. Is it okay, Prabhuji, to take up the question?
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. Padma Shri Mataji, you can ask the question, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, in the class, when you were talking, you mentioned there are different types of annihilations. What are the different types of annihilations, Prabhuji?
So, this is in detail, if you want to go through, it is in the Srimad Bhagavatam again, 12th canto. So, wherein it is explained instant annihilation and material annihilation and the partial annihilation and full annihilation. All these things are there. Here, there are 4 types of annihilations. So if you give some separate time, I can take up these topics and explain separately. You can speak to Narayani on this.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. In today's one of the purports, we read that Janma Karma Same Divyam Evam Yoveti Tattvataha. So in that, Prabhuji, our Srila Prabhupada has promised us to take back to Godhead if we follow his instructions, like doing 16 rounds and following 4 regulative principles. So I just wanted to know, Prabhuji, like just by knowing the activities and birth and appearance and disappearance of the Lord, just by knowing that, so we will be eligible to go back to Godhead. So is this given by Krishna himself, Prabhuji, that promise?
Okay, Krishna has given himself to Arjuna. But what does he say? Remembering, right? Remembering means, is it a temporary one or it's a continuous one?
Continuous.
Forever.
Very simple. So always we have to remember the same thing. We should not forget it. Sometimes we think, oh, we are the boss. That's a problem. Clear?
Prabhuji, we know that Krishna is very compassionate, Prabhuji, because he is also willing and expecting his children to come back soon.
But
so
we
this
have
is
to
what
reciprocate, no? We have to take some steps
Yes,
towards
Prabhuji.
that.
Yes, Prabhuji. So many devotees, after coming to Krishna consciousness, also they fall from bhakti. So why is it happening, Prabhuji?
Oh, that's a good question. It's purely, I would say that Sukriti ends. Very simple. Because as long one remains in Krishna consciousness, they have to thank the Lord to keep us in Krishna consciousness. Just now we saw the shloka, no? Those who remember, I give them the memory. I encourage them. As he said, those who forget what he says, Antakriti. Clear?
But they have once taken the shelter, no, Prabhuji, of
By
the
one
Lord's.
thing I tell you, they will not be lost ever. They will be given another chance. That Bhagavad Gita he says, right? What does he say? Neha Vikramana Sosti, right? What does he say? Swarpamatyasya dharmasya.
Try to Mahatuvai.
That's why we should not criticize or talk about them. That's why Apiche Suduracharo Bhajatema Ananyabha. Oh, he was in Krishna consciousness, he fell down. Then we comment on all those things. It's an offense. The Lord says, I bring him back into this. Because you said the Lord loves each and everyone, correct?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, if anyone falls down from this path, can they come in the same lifetime, Prabhuji, back to Krishna consciousness?
Yeah, that's what Krishna promises. They'll get back to their original position. See, there are wonderful examples in the Bhagavatam. Take the case of Bharat Maharaj. If you read the full story, you can understand. There are 4 or 5 chapters. It explains very clearly, systematically, everything happens. Even
Prabhuji, Bharat Maharaj has come again into Krishna consciousness in different lifetimes now, Prabhuji. I'm talking in the same lifetime. Will they come back, Prabhuji?
No, this is what I am telling. The Lord again wishes. Right?
Okay, Prabhuji.
That's why Suchinam Srimatam Gehe Yogo Nashta Parantapa. In this Bhakti Yoga will not let you down. You will get a chance to get back to it. Not in the same, sometimes later.
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. There are so many references. So wonderful. Thanks for wonderful questions and giving me an opportunity to speak on all those things. So I thank my Gurudev because he is in me who gives me this instruction. So even the answers we are trying to fulfill the best possible way with my limited ability.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
One second.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya
Kote Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the beautiful system. Please keep coming again and again, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Get in touch with Narayani for any other things. Okay, she will be able to get back to me. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Sure.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the
To end
wonderful
the meeting,
class.
Prabhuji, as you are the host, Prabhuji.
Hare
You will
Krishna.
have to end the meeting.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.